Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the French Tier 8 Premium Heavy Tank, the HMH AMX M4 49. Now this is a pretty damn steady Eddie French Tier 8 Premium Heavy Tank, because the armour on it is pretty nice, the gun on it is a bit derpy, the reload is a little bit slow, but it just steadily but surely puts out the damage. It's got pretty damn nice penetration on the gun, so it's got 232 penetration on the AP rounds, 263 pen on the APCR rounds, which means it's pretty good because you can pen most things you're going to face unless you're looking at tier 10 super heavies. 1000 meters a second shell velocity on the AP round as well, with 1250 on the APCR rounds, means that the shell velocity is actually pretty decent. I say the problem is that this gun does feel a little bit derpy, so you really have to help it out because it's got 0.34 base accuracy, but it never really feels like that, and it likes to hit the floor quite a bit. You do have 2.7 second aim time as well, which means that, yeah, the gun does feel like it takes a little bit to get aimed in. And because of that, you've got 1.22 accuracy during rotation, and because you've got 2.29 accuracy during movement, with the setup that I actually have, it genuinely means that the gun blooms out quite a lot, which is where you feel that 2.7 second aim time quite badly. And it's a little bit frustrating. Also, you do have a 40 km/h top speed, which is pretty good, but to be honest, you don't really ever hit it. You do have a decent power to weight ratio of 14.29, but yeah, it doesn't really hit 40 km an hour that much, which means you do feel a little bit sluggish and slow with a gun that's a little bit derpy, which means it can be just a little bit frustrating to use on this tank. But, like I say, the armor's pretty damn nice. Except for when that happens. We ended up catching a few nasty shots there in the HMH AMX M4, and we now only have 134 hit points, and we've done nothing, which means that this game is going to be pretty damn nice. And as you can tell, this replay is from a wee while ago, which is probably testament to how much I actually played the HMH AMX M4 49, which is not much, because I do own all three variants of it. I've 3-marked the standard AMX M4 49, and I've played that quite a lot, which means that I don't really ever feel like playing the HMH AMX M4 49, right? I think we earned this tank for free at one point. But yeah, I don't really feel like playing it, especially since this was actually my first Tier 8 Premium on PC, when I used to play PC quite a lot, and it was my main silver grinder at that point, alongside the Lurva, which is probably the reason I haven't really played the Lurva that much either. So I ended up playing, you know, 150, 200 games in both of those two tanks, and thus I don't really play them too much when they're on console. But I remember back in the day when it got released, and I was like, yes, I'm having this, because the armor is a thing of beauty. The armor, if you are frontally on in this tank, the armor is fantastic against tier 6s and 7s, it's fantastic against tier 8s. Against tier 9s and 10s, it can still bounce quite a lot, unless, naturally, they fire premium, which does happen, and then they can go through your upper plate if you're not careful, but angles really do help to bounce quite a lot as well. And your armor can be really, really damn nice on this tank. You do have a cupola on top, which is pennable, but if you keep yourself moving and wiggling, it can be pretty awkward for the enemy team to actually hit those, and it means that, you know, you can basically keep the damage flowing for the vehicle. And it's one that I always did enjoy because it was that steady Eddie. I've just probably played it far too much, realistically, to truly enjoy it anymore. You know what I mean? It's like when you've got too much of a good thing and you've played something far too much, that it becomes a bit like, I can't bother with that. That's basically the AMX M4 49 for me. That's probably why I haven't made this video on it for so long, because I would just look at the video and go, yeah, I could do, but, you know. And that's because, yeah, this replay, like you're seeing, is from a very long time ago. I don't even know when this date, that the date of this replay was, but it's a pretty damn good game. I mean, the reason I wanted to show it as well is because it's the whole, again, don't give up. We took all that damage right at the start of the game, and we don't give up, and we're going to have a pretty damn nice game in a bottom tier matchup for saying that we had no damage at 134 hit points, right? And we're up to 1500 so far. But yeah, you can see that this replay is from a wee while ago, because, I mean, look at San River. Look at what they've done to my boy. This is back when the filters were still on the maps, the colour filters. If you don't remember this, then this is a reminder of what it looked like. How orange is Sand River? Wowzers. Just wowzers. It's one of those things, you look back at it and go, oh god, it looked horrid, right? You know, it did not look like nice to my eye whatsoever. And it really made Sand River look just washed out and orange. Ugh, thank god they're gone anyway. But anyway, more about the tank. What do I run in terms of a crew on the old HMH AMX M4 49? Well, I do run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Track Mechanics, Steady Aim, Snapshot, Run and Gun, Off-Road Driving. Off-Road Driving, because the ground resistances on this tank aren't that good, so I want to help it out as much as possible so I can at least try and get towards my 40 km an hour top speed. The 3 gun perks, because like I say, this gun can feel derpy and really irritating, so I try to make it as good as humanly can do. Track Mechanic, because I'm a heavy tank, I kind of get stuck into a bit of a brawl every now and then, so I want to try and make sure that the tracks get back on as quickly as possible. And again, the other 4 perks are what you're going to take on every single tank in World War II. And then in terms of equipment, I run the Advanced Loader, the Gun Stabilizer, and Optics. Gun Stabilizer, again, to make the on-the-move and during rotation accuracy better. The Advanced Loader to make sure that I've got the best DPM I can humanly get. And Optics to be able to spot for myself because, yep, the MX M4 49 does only have 370 meters of base view range, which is not very good, realistically, for a Tier 8, because once you get into 370, the view range really does get a little bit low, so you want to try and help it out as much as possible with Optics, situational awareness, etc., etc., so you can actually spot for yourself and not get horrifically outspotted if possible. So as you're seeing so far, this Sheridan is coming for us, and I'm like, Mr. Sheridan, I don't want to die to you. We get a nice shot in on the, with that, well, in third person. He's actually managed to go over the dune, which is making it awkward for himself, because now he's going to drive straight back out in front of my gun. But in fact, the K91 shuts him down. And I say we got lucky. We didn't really get lucky against the Sheridan because he just made a massive misplay. And that is the fact that his penetration, again, on his Tier 10 light tank is not enough to go through my front guaranteed. And even, to be honest, he's just not guaranteed to go. He just doesn't go through my front of my tank unless he aims for the cupola on top. He just made the play of, I'm going to auto-aim and fire, and he bounced every shot off the front of the AMX M4 49 because he just saw a Tier 8 heavy tank, right? And we managed to keep our front to him, and thus it made it too difficult for him to actually get the shots at us. And yeah, the HMH, that is one thing actually thinking about the HMH AMX M4 49 that's just popped into my head, is the fact that this tank does have slightly better armour than the other 2 versions of this tank, because this tank does have 3 versions. It has the standard AMX M4 49, the Egalite AMX M4 49, and the HMH AMX M4 49. Now obviously, if you want to get this tank, I would suggest getting the standard AMX M4 49, because it's far cheaper than this tank and the Egalite. They're both like 15k gold, this and the Egalite, which is crazy, and the standard one is like, I'm not actually sure how much the standard AMX M4 49 is worth, but it's far, far cheaper than these 2 tanks. It's kind of mad that they're priced the way they are, and there's such a, it's kind of mental as well that there's such a difference in the price between the 3 different variants that are exactly the same. And the only difference between this one and the standard one is the fact that you've got sandbags on it, which is the point I was going to make, is the fact that this tank actually has sandbags on the front which can add to your armour too. Which is something that the other 2, the Egalite and the standard one, don't get. But yeah, the HMH AMX M4 49, according to the Tankopedia, has 14,840 gold price. The Egalite has 14,840 gold price, whereas the standard AMX M4 49 without a skin costs 11,700. It's like 3,000 gold cheaper, which is mental. But yeah, so that's my advice, is always get the standard version. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the replay here of this first one. We managed to get 3 kills, 4.5k damage, 293 assistance. The ace tank of the Confederate with the 2041 base XP, which is a fantastic game in a bottom tier matchup for saying that we basically lost all of our hit points in that first 30 seconds. We managed to get 4.5k damage, which is always beautiful. And I did cut it early because what happens is you saw us spot that guy, and he basically, we missed 1 shot, and he managed to run away, and then it ran away for another, I think it was another 2.5 minutes of just chasing after a TD that's really quick. So I didn't want to put you through that. I didn't want to put myself through that, so that's why I've cut the replay. But we're on to the second replay. The second replay is in a pretty nice matchup on mines. And what we're going to do is we're going to push towards the hill on mines. Because on mines, the hill is king. If you can get king of the hill, you're going to win the game. You're going to win the map. It's just the way that mines has always been. So we go for the shot on the T-37 on the move. Oh, unfortunately, the shell missed, which means we don't quite shut that guy down. But thankfully, our T-30... Oh, sorry, our 12T managed to shut down that T-37 before he gets himself onto the hill himself. We're now going to try and get ourselves in a position to be hull down on this rock, and by doing that I can try and spot the guys at the back of the map, which is again why I kit my tank out with optics, with the situational awareness, born leader, etc., so that I can get the view range to be pretty damn good, and that way I can spot the people that are sat at the back of this map, as you are seeing. If I didn't have optics, if I didn't have the view range, I would not be seeing those guys, and they'd be able to get free shots at me, number one, or number two, they'd just be able to sit there farming my friends. So we're just going to put around the corner, get a nice shot into the Tiger 1. There's another Tiger 1 sat down there in the open. I'm like, Mr. Tiger 1, just stay there. I like shooting tigers. You are big, boxy people that I'm quite easy to pen. I like tigers. And unfortunately for me, the Tiger 1 said no. But we are seeing shots flying from that back corner. They're flying, all those shells. And unfortunately, one of our tanks bites the dust. And I did try to pop a blind shot, but didn't quite get the shot in. The TNH 105-1000 misses. And you're seeing shots, again, flying in. We try and get the shot into the Tiger, one side of his turret, but unfortunately don't quite get that shot in. We're up to 911 damage with quite a bit blocked. Just looking for the shot into the lower plate, the TNH 105-1000. And the gun derps into the rock next to him. Please, gun, behave. We're just looking for a cheeky shot into the UDES. That was never going to hit. Can't blame the gun for that one. That was just never going to hit. The Tiger 1 frustratingly pulls back just in time. We do manage to get a shot through the lower plate there of that TNH 105-1000. And you're seeing how good the armor is in this kind of matchup. Because, you know, we're top tier. And we are managing to just bounce shots left, right, and centre. Which sometimes you can get a little bit too overconfident in the armor. Which is something you're probably going to see in this replay, if I'm honest. You can get a little bit too overconfident in the armor. And you'll end up overextending yourself a little bit. But it is pretty damn good, especially in that hull down sort of situation that you just saw there. But we realised, oh no, there's tanks coming in behind us. There's a Dragon and a heavy tank, which is the KV-85. So we've got to try and stop this Dragon from getting up behind us, because that was stopping us being able to do anything from the little rock that we were at. Artillery starts looking at us, which I'm not happy about. The K91 version 2 is spotted at the back, so we end up trying to snap a shot at him. Unfortunately, the shot actually ricochets off his upper plate, and we just don't quite get the reload in time to get the shot in. We try and go for the shot into the top of the Tiger 1's turret, and you can see the visible rage as we did the little wiggle there, because we tried to take the snappy little shot into the top of the Tiger 1's turret, and naturally we took that shot, and the K91 version 2 went, yeah, you can shoot me now, bro. He didn't even know we'd fired. He just drove out anyway. It's always frustrating when that happened. Timing, right? Am I right? Bad timing. But we managed to bounce a few more shots from the back, and again, you can see how confident I am in my armour. And there, we knew the UDES was back there somewhere, so I decided, you know what? We know he's going to be camping back there somewhere, right? He was last spotted back there, so we're just going to go for a blind shot at one of the rocks. That bush is where TDs do like to sit sometimes on mines, so that we just went for that blind shot, and we actually did get it, which was, it's always satisfying when you think, I wonder if there's a tank there. You fire, and it's like, penetration. You're like, yes! Got it! Always so satisfying. But you can see we've blocked 3.3k damage at the minute. Honestly, the armour can be so effective. And you can see I was just exceptionally confident in it. We're kind of lucky, probably, that we weren't getting artilleried. But then we were right up against that rock, which makes it awkward for artillery to hit you in that spot. But this VZ-44-1 seems to be struggling with the heavy tank behind me. So what we're actually going to do is go help this guy out against the TNH... It's actually the TNH 105-1000 from earlier on. We're going to help the team out by trying to get rid of this guy, get rid of the threat from behind yet again, and then we can go focus on what's in front of us towards the enemy base. So he's got two tanks coming at him. We get a nice shot free-aimed into the side of his tank, give him a little love tap, and that means he turns his side of his turret to the IS, who shuts him down. We're up to 2.6k damage with 189 assistance. And what I'm going to do now is be very aggressive. And that is, we're still pretty damn healthy. I want to push towards the enemy base if I can. Try not to take that many shots. And see if I can spot the artillery and get rid of it. But as we make this push, we end up finding the Tiger 1. We get a nice shot that luckily flies straight into his drive wheel, tracks him in place. And I'm looking at this guy going, oh no. Have I got him perma-tracked? So we're going to fire another shot blind, and in fact that one didn't hit, that one didn't pen, so therefore he's managed to repair his track and get away. But now we're going to use the decent mobility of the tank once again to get up to 40 kilometers an hour. We are going downhill, so we should be able to hit it and get ourselves under the ridgeline, away from the shots to the side, and get towards this artillery. Because again, I want to try and get rid of the artillery if we can, because our artillery is dead. we don't want their artillery alive and kicking to tell the tale, and it's assault, so we do have to attack. But at the minute it's well, I was about to say it's 8-5, but now it's 7-5, and I know where the artillery are. Both are on my left, but there is possibly TDs on my right, which we find. We find the UDES. And oh no, the gun derps. So we end up missing the shot on that UDES, which makes this awkward. But he does take a hit from the guys behind me. We shut down the UDES 03 there. We found the M44, looking for a shot, but we don't quite have it. And because my two teammates are going after the artillery, I'm like, you know what? You two deal with that. I'm going to go deal with some of their team. So we find the Tiger 1. Get a nice shot into his side, but he's just about getting beyond the reach of our gun, which is sad. The E25 is now coming up behind my heavy tank, which is something that we do not want to let live. We actually find the SU-14-1. We get a shot into him, which puts him down to a one-shot. Just waiting on the reload. I'm like, please. Oh, God, no. We missed the shot on the SU-14-1, but now we've got the E25, so we get a shot into the drive wheel of the E25, which tracks and damages Armour, but he does repair it. But the M44 is giving us a chance to get a shot at him, so I'm going to do a mistake here, and that is I'm going to go for the M44. Naturally, that's not the mistake. Oh, but the gun derps again. We've got to aim these shots. But I'm going to ignore the E25, because I want to get rid of the artillery. We get a shot into the M44 there, and I think, you know what? I think this E25 has run away. He gets spotted at H7. He's just killed the VZ-44-1. So I'm looking at that thinking, I've got time. I'm going to kill the artillery here. I've got time to get away from that E25. We go for the RBRT, but we hit the dead wreck's gun. We hit the gun of the dead wreck. We take both artillery hits. We kill the M44. We're starting to take hits from the E25 now, which is like a machine gun. And all of our hit points are evaporating. We get the shot in to shut down the SU-14-1. And then we take another hit. How did he hit that one? Oh, we're a one-shot for the E25 now. We've just lost all of our hit points in the blink of an eye. We've been a bit unlucky with RNG in the fact that we missed a few shots with the derpy gun handling. And we got a bit unlucky that we went for the RBRT on the M44 as well. And we actually, just as we were... One of those awkward moments as we were driving past the dead wreck's gun actually went into my barrel, which is where it blocked my shot, which is really frustrating, but... Yeah, we should have just played better. And from a real position of strength, we're now in a really vulnerable position. We're up to 4.8k damage with 189 assistance. The E25 cannot penetrate me frontally. He just can't. He has to get my side or rear. So we're trying to find it. We find, the M51 Super Sherman, and we get the RBRT into that guy. Bounce his shot as well, because he RBRT'd me. And we get rid of the Super Sherman, but now we can turn around to deal with E25. Is he just going to drive in front of me? He does. We put him down to a one-shot, and he rams us. He rams us and shuts himself down, leaves us on 22 hit points, and we finish the game with the victory. 5 kills, 5.6k damage, 189 assistance, 4.5k blocks, the steel wall, the high caliber, with 2.2k base XP. A really nice game there for the HMH AMX M4 49. That game went downhill very, very quickly, but we managed to just about recover it, and we got a little bit lucky, really, that the E25 decided to ram us instead of running away, because if he'd run away, he would have won the assault game. But that's the HMH AMX M4 49. Like I say, you're always best to go for the standard AMX M4 49, because it's 3k gold cheaper. But that's it for the video, and as always, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. I'll see you next time.
A great success!